Hello everyone, this is Afsar Ali. So in this video we're going to learn how to bypass login from UI in our automation test. Right, so I'll be discussing there are two ways how we can bypass login from our automation test. The first one is using cookies of current session, and second one using cookies and using API. Right, so we'll see both of them how we can use in our automation test. All right. So before going through our implementation, let's understand how this thing works. How session can be restored or reused using cookies of current session, right? For example, I am taking this website www.99.co. Okay. So yeah. So this is one of the website. Here, what I'll be doing is let me log in with my credential that I have. Okay, if you don't have, you can also sign up. So you can see I have already logged in, and if I go to the account section, I can see all the details like mobile number and all, right? So that means I have been logged in. So let's understand how exactly this session is being managed. So if I open the same session in another browser, is it logging in? Okay, it is not logging in here. Okay, now you can see after refresh or something happened, then it automatically it got logged in. All right. You might be knowing, right, many time whenever you open LinkedIn or Facebook, you no need to log in again and again, right? When you open your browser, it already being logged in. So how this thing works behind the scene, right? So behind the scene, it works based on its cookie and the session management, right? So let's understand. If I go to click on inspect, okay, you will see the developer tool basically. So now from here I'll go to okay, so you need to go to applications, right? There is an arrow button over here, just click on that, then you'll see here the application, right? So once you are on this application, you need to see a couple of things over here within the storage section, right? And if you see here, there is a cookies and local storage, then there is a session storage. Sometimes they store some credentials like the JWT token and all in here to reuse those token to log in and all. So in our case, so we'll just see how this session is being managed by cookies, right? If you go over here, and you need to check the proper domain over here. You might be seeing other domains, but yeah, we are concerned more about this www.99.co because this is the URL that we are looking for. All right. So here, if you see, there are a couple of cookies already being set, right? So how you will know which cookie is responsible for our this session, logged in session, right? To know that, you can, what you can do is you can delete one by one and you'll see what happens, right? For example, I delete the first one and I'll refresh whether is anything happening over here. Is it logging out? Nothing happens, right? And if I delete, for example, this one, all right, is something happening? No, nothing happened. Still a login session is there. However, if I delete this token or token v2, right, then let's see what happens, because previously I already checked it, right? So if I now refresh, okay, it's still there. If I now delete token, okay, so let's see. Now you can see the session is no more. So now you can see it's asking for logging in, right? Now you are logged out from the last session. So from that we got to know that that is the one token, that is one of the cookies which is responsible for our session. Let's try to find it. okay, token. There is no more token because it's already being deleted. If I log in again, now I see again token, right? So that means this is one of the cookie which is being set over here, which is responsible for our session. So I'll just delete now, and I'll check one thing from where this particular token is being set. All right, so now it is being logged out. Okay, so to check from where it is being set, what we can do, we just need to go to network section. Okay, clear from here. Normally those tokens are set during our login authentication only, right? So that means if I can find which API is causing or setting that cookies, then I can able to capture that cookie from there itself, right? For example, if I now click on login, because I just clear everything in the network tab, right? I would see all the network calls over here. Okay, now the first call happened was login. It's a post call, it's a REST API call, right? And if I see here, okay, payload, whatever the username and password I have given, and the response status code was 200, and thing that you need to look here in the response header itself. So whatever response it is giving is the set cookies. So basically it is setting two cookies here, token, another one is token v2. Basically it is setting into our cookies, and from this cookie we are getting to know, okay, this is the current session is being in okay, so we can reuse those. If we can get this token from somewhere, somehow, using from this API and set it into the browser cookies, then we should be able to log in to our application without going through here like UI login itself, right? We'll see in demonstration as well. Okay, so create a new project in IntelliJ, then add this dependency in pom.xml files. First one is WebDriver manager, then Selenium Java, then JSON dependency, and then REST Assure. So we'll be using all those dependency in our test. All right, okay. Create a new class, then just open this www.99.co, right? Once you navigate to that, let me just quickly check whether everything is okay. All right, it's opening this browser. All right, then we'll see, we'll just log in with this from here, right, with our credential. Then we'll capture the cookies and session, then we'll try to apply those cookies first within the browser, and we'll see whether we are able to skip the UI login or not in the next time when we'll be running it, right? Okay, so here is the code for logging in to the application. The first, it will click on the login button in the top, then it will enter the username and password, then click on this login button. Let's see whether this works or not. Let me just run this one. Okay, so opening this browser. So now we can see this is being logged in already, and this is login successful. Then the next step is that we need to get the cookies. Okay, then those cookies will save into a JSON file, right? And from the next time onward, whenever we'll try to access that web application, we'll not do this login thing, right? We'll just comment out this, and instead we'll read those cookies from that JSON file and refresh that web page, then our login should happen. So here is the two utility files that I have created, which will get the cookies and store into this file. File name would be this 99co.json, within this current directory. If I go to this code over here, what exactly it is doing, it is checking if there is any file name 99co.json file available in this current directory. If it exists, then delete it. Then what it will do, it will get the session data, right? If you see here, this two username and created ID, basically username is for which user that you are creating this file. Basically it's for your identification purpose, otherwise it's optional, right? You can if you have multiple users also, you can set those username into that JSON file itself. So that would be helpful in identification for which user this browser cookies are available, right? Then next thing is session data. So this is the most important thing that for this particular JSON object. If I go to the session data, so I have created one more private method over here which will get the session storage data, right? From here, if I go to session storage, basically what exactly it is doing, it is getting from web storage, getting the session storage data, then creating one object and putting into all this session storage data into that object, and it will return one object from there. So I got the all session storage. Similar way, local storage, that I am creating one more JSON object over here, then saving those into one more JSON object, right? And similarly for cookies, right, driver.manage.get cookies, then I am saving those cookies into JSON array object, right? So it will return me JSON array and I'll be using everything over here. So once we run this and save the file, then you will see what exactly that JSON file will look like, right? So now if I now run it, okay, let me run it. So now we can see after login successful, there is a JSON object is being created, right? And here if you see, there is a 99co.json file, and let me just format it. Alright. So now you can see this is session data, session storage, local storage, then cookies, right? Cookies, everything is being set. So the cookies that we want is token v2 and token cookies, right? Let us see if it is there or not. It should be there. Yeah, this is the one, right? So yeah, once you have this file, you can just reuse, instead of running your test UI, I mean logging in from UI, you just reuse the same thing, right? So now I will just disable this everything, login. Okay, let me just comment out. Then what we need to do, we also comment out this particular thing, right? Storing the file, because we are not storing the file, we will be reading the file, this JSON file which we just now saved, right? Then reload. So I have one more method available within session manager class. If I go to that, so basically what it is doing, first it will clear is there any cookies available. Once that is being cleared, then it will read this this JSON file and assign it to a JSON object, and from that JSON object we will get the session data, then we will get local storage, right? Then cookies, everything will be reading and applying into our browser, right? Over here if you see how exactly it is being done. So apply cookies to current session. If I go into that, what exactly it is doing, it is reading all the cookies available, right? Get JSON array, basically reading using this array. So this is one array if you see in the JSON object. So get JSON array, get cookies means it's giving us JSON array, in here. Then from that JSON array you have JSON objects available, right? If you see here, each of them is one of the object within this JSON array, right? For each of them we'll just read it and apply into our session manager, into our cookies. So we'll just build a cookie based on those value present in our JSON file, right? So once we read it one by one using this for loop and just add to our driver.manage.add cookie, so it will add to our current browser whichever we will open now, right? So once we add those cookies, the next step, so similar way, so I'm doing local storage and session storage as well in here, because sometimes we might need some information from local storage and session storage, but you can also kind of, if you don't need, you can just comment out those thing, local storage and session storage as well, right? Then after that it will just refresh that whole browser, right? Then we'll see what exactly happens. What I'll do now, I'll just run this thing, because I just commented out everything over here. Then it will come and read this file, because I have just given the file name, right? Let's see. So opening the browser, okay, so once you refresh, you can see here this is already being logged in, and if I want to go here, you can see it is logged in with the current user, right? Now login successful, right? So this is how you can reuse a saved session, right? So one more important thing that you need to note over here is, if you go to that token, right? I believe it was here, token cookie, yeah. If you see here, so here if you see the expiry date, basically this cookies can be reused till 2023. So today is you can say 5th November 2022, but you can use 5th November 2023, it's almost 1 year, right? This token can be used for 1 year, right? After 1 year it will be expired automatically, right? So yeah, in your test you can just reuse this cookie value using similar method. If you want to do instead of reading from the file, right, if you want to do a particular cookies, so I have another method which we can use for a single cookie. So if you see the set cookie method, right, if you know what all the things needed, right, for that particular cookie. For example, I do have here, just comment out this thing, because I know if I can get the information from here for that particular cookie, right, like path, domain, name, this all thing, if I know already, then I can use the single cookie, this set cookie. Just need to create this JSON object first. So what we can do is, I just need to construct this JSON object from here. So I used it previously, if you see here, okay, JSON object. Then existing session, you get all the domain and everything from that JSON file from here, right? Whatever you can see, www.99co and token, whatever you can see over from here, you just copy paste into here, in here. So once your JSON object is ready, okay, so once the JSON object is ready, you just need to call this method set cookies, and internally what it will do, it will just set for that particular cookie, it will set into the browser and it will refer, because we know this is only one cookie which is responsible for our session, right? So in this case, no point of having all those cookies if you don't need, right? Just if you exactly know this is the only cookie which is responsible for our session, just use that cookie instead, right? Something like this, just create the object like this and set cookie, just call, and it will do your work, right? It will log in into your application, right? So there is another way that we can also do bypass login UI. Okay, the method 3 I would say. Okay, so method 1 we know this is saving everything into a file. Method 1, right, save everything into this JSON file and then use this method to retrieve all the information including local storage, session storage, then cookies, right, everything you will get from that JSON file. And the second one, method 2, method 2 was just create that particular object, right, whichever is responsible for your session, right, instead of, okay, 99 core, right. So instead of having all the session, all the cookies and all, you no need. So you know already this is only one cookies is responsible, just use that and use this set cookies method from that session manager class, then you will be done. Then method 3, okay, so now method 3 is related to API. Using API, how I can instead of going through the browser the first time, because if you see the first time itself you need to log in from the UI, then store these two methods, you need to store those cookies or session everything into this JSON file, then only in the subsequent login or subsequent test you don't need to run again, right, or you can bypass from subsequent test, not the first time. So very first test that need to be use the UI from the login from the browser, right. Once you log in, then you will get this all information, right. You can do it in before suite if you are using TestNG or something, or before class or something, where you can set this JSON file, then you can reuse the JSON file in all other tests, right. Similar way, if a cucumber in hooks you can use this, but we are talking here we don't want to use UI at all. So completely bypass UI, okay, is we will be using only API for that. Let's see how we can do using API, how we can get these cookies everything from API itself. Alright, so in the beginning of the video I have shown how this login API will set these cookies, right. So normally whenever you log in or log out, when you log out, this this token or token v2 will be reset to null or something, or maybe it will be deleted from our application from here, right. For example, if I log out now, right, you will see it will be deleted, that token v2 and all. So in cookie section you won't see any token or token v2 in here after logout, right. So it is being cleared by some API call. So I'm not able to find for now. Maybe we can see where exactly it is being setting in the response header whenever we just click. So we need to observe that, then only we can get to know which API call is being, or which one is page redirection is happening. So or maybe some JavaScript itself is doing something, right? So yeah, this is how we can get, this is one of the way that we can get the get to know which exactly cookies is responsible for the session, right? So best way I would suggest you to check inside this application, right, in the cookies, and try to delete one by one, right? So when you do, once you log in from UI, then only you try, right? So you will see, so just delete one and refresh, is this session is gone or not. So whichever this cookie is being responsible, right, then you can able to find, okay, this is the one cookie which is responsible for my session. For LinkedIn, this is the one cookie which is responsible for your session, right? li underscore 80. Okay, so this is the one, so you no need to search for others, right? If you delete this, your session will be gone. You need to re-log in the UI, right? If you are, or if you can able to extract this from during the login itself, then you will be able to log in without UI itself, right? For example, here if you see this login, okay, whenever we click on we enter the username and password, then click on login button, then you will see this set cookie is happening, li art. So yeah, you need to do this post API call using this all response header you need to provide by some way, right? If you can able to do that, then you can completely bypass that UI login as well for LinkedIn. Similarly for, okay, so logged out, okay, for example here log out, when you log out LinkedIn, then you will see this kind of thing, set cookie li art equal to delete me or something, it will set over here, and expire also you can see it's setting to 1997, it's a backdated. So the browser will know that, okay, this cookie is no longer available, it will delete from the browser itself, right? So this is how you can get to know. Either you, when you log in, then you will see those set cookie in the response header, or when you log out, okay, you need to search in the network tab which API is causing or setting these cookies, right? Similarly Facebook, Facebook have two, this XS or C user, these two is responsible for your session in Facebook, right? If you can get to know, or from where you can grab this, then you can set it in your as I showed in here, right, in here. If you are able to set these values, this name and all, then you will be able to use this set cookie method to bypass your login, right? If you know, like this cookie is available for like 1 year, then you can use for that much of time. Okay, so one more thing you need to remember. So once you log out, okay, that session is gone from the database itself, so you won't be able to log in using this way, right? So make sure you don't log in whenever you use this way, this JSON file or maybe hard-coded way that you are using. So no need to log out the session. Once your test is finished, don't log out your session. So if you log out, then you need to recreate this JSON file, or you need to you need to get it again, this value for this XS or C user or whatever for LinkedIn or for 99co, right? So you need to get these cookies again from the UI or from from UI or maybe API. So yeah, no need to log in. If you want to log out, then that's a different scenario. You need to again need to get these cookies again, right? All right, enough talk. Let's implement for API way, that is method 3. So what we need to do is we need to get this token which is responsible, that is token in our case, for this one, as I already talked about this token. So how we can get it, as I already have gone through this. So this is the one I identified. So where it is exactly setting. So if I go to network tab, so let me just log out and log in again, so that I can show what exactly it is happening behind the scene. Okay, I will log in. Okay, it's already logged in. Maybe I just log out. Here I will go to inspect. I will go to network tab. Okay, I'll just clear everything and log in again. I'll clear again everything. Make sure your network tab here is clear before hitting login. Enter your username and password. I click hit login. Okay, so if you see the first API call is login. So this is the REST API call. If you see, this is a post type and many other things. So might be in your case this API call might be different, right, naming. So you need to find which exactly it is. So in my case, if you see login having this one set cookies, it is setting the token. All right, so if I can get this API and okay, so to test this API also, what I can do, just right click from here, okay, copy as curl, okay, then I will go to my postman. Okay, there is an option called import, and I go to raw text, enter, continue, import. Here you will see whatever the API here, this is the one, the REST API post call and everything, it will be copied over here. So you can reuse the same API call. So header, I think you no need all these headers. So some cookies and everything is being copied from here, but yeah, I think no need all other things except accept type. Okay, because I tested it previously, it was working fine for me. And you can remove content type, you can keep it, otherwise you can just remove everything. Alright, so when I change or checked this thing, it is working fine for me now. Alright, so 200 okay, and you can see here this is my response. Okay, and yeah, so one more thing that we need to check is cookies. So if you see, there is a tab called cookies. There are 3 cookies is being set over here, right? So basically we need to get these cookies from this API call. Once we are able to get these cookies, then we'll be able to provide these cookies into our this method 2, right? This is the method 2 way, right? So how we can do that? We need to use this API as a base, post API call. All right. So for that we have added REST assured in the beginning itself, if you can remember, right? So here is the API util that I have added now, and this is my REST assured, and this is my post API call. Okay, body is the JSON payload that will be creating for this, and it will return us the cookies. Okay, list of cookies as a map, string is name and value. Okay, so we'll be using this in our this method 3 here. All right. Okay, so first of all, I just created the JSON payload. Okay, using username and password for this API call, because in the body itself we need email and password. So yeah, and this is the URI that is needed. This is the one for the REST API call. Then in the API util, and I'm calling that post call get cookies, or yeah, it's the wrong name I would say. yes, can be proper name, we can rename it, alright, later. So yeah, I'm calling that, then getting cookies in a hash map over here, string is a value and value. So I have another method in session manager class, this is the class, okay, there I'm using this map as a input, and domain name I need to include as well. In your case you can just add whatever the domain that in your application or whichever application that you are using, alright. So for me, in the JSON file you can also find that domain name here, right, here, like that. So I'll just provide domain name over here and just go to that, and you'll see what exactly it is doing. So first of all, it is deleting all existing cookies. Then after that, because it's a map, I am just iterating through all the cookies available, because we have I think from that API call we got 3 cookies. So iterating and creating a JSON, creating a cookies object, then setting it to the driver, right. Then after that I'm just refreshing the same concept like in other here we did for the file, with the whatever, right, methods first or method 2, and this is the method 3, right. So now if I'll be able to log in, let me see whether I'll be able to log in or not from this. Let me see if everything is yes, commented, and I now try here. So browser is opened, and now refresh happen. Yes, now you can see it's being logged in, right. So this is login successful. So this is how you can do without using prerequisite UI login the first time. You can also do using this API. So just you need to grab that API or that cookies by any means from the API. So if you are able to do from your application, right, that cookie, right, then you will be able to bypass UI login completely in this case. So before this particular test, I also tested Flipkart, LinkedIn and Facebook session. So this is working perfectly fine for me, right. But yeah, I haven't tested API way for I think Flipkart and Facebook, but yeah, it can be achieved by that way, right. If you are using in your company, if you are using like lower environment, not using the prod, then it would be easy to log in through API, right. If you are able to log in through API, then you can get the cookies, and you can bypass UI login completely like that, right. So yeah, that's all for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or anything you want to know in the comment section, and you can get this code link in the video descriptions as well, right. See you then, bye for now.